My name's Kendra Langlinais. I'm a freelance journalist. I worked at CNN for 23 years full-time. I worked my way up from being a entry-level position all the way up to being an executive producer, supervising producer. Then my husband and I decided to move to Colorado, and I thought it was kind of going to be like pre-retirement. When I left CNN, I said, can I freelance write? Because I had been a writer for years. And they were like, absolutely, that'd be fantastic. So I was able to work remotely for CNN, filling in vacation and things like that, which was fabulous, but very erratic. You know, sometimes I'd have 10 shifts in a week, sometimes I'd have 2 shifts in a week. So I started looking, probably about a year and a half in of us being in Colorado, I started looking for a full-time position. You know, at the beginning, I wanted to not be in television anymore. I wanted to do something for a group that I feel passionately about. So I applied for things like women's rights, abortion rights. I want to use what I know for communications and journalism and all of that and put it to work for a group or an entity that I believe in. One was for a communications manager for a company, well, not a company, a nonprofit that did work on behalf of the national parks, which of course I'm super passionate about. I was very excited about the interview. It was a Zoom interview. The woman could see I had like national park posters on my wall. I'm telling her all this stuff. It seemed really great. You know, I was asking her questions. I felt like we had a really great rapport. And then at the end, she said, okay, so we're gonna repost the job. So if you would like to reapply, you should definitely do that. And you know, there have been a couple times in my life when I've been so shocked by what somebody said that I didn't have a response. So I just basically said, okay. I just kind of was like, well, wow, okay, she just said that to me in the middle. Not in the middle, but towards the end of what I thought was a pretty good interview. I mean, I've had plenty of interviews that I thought were terrible, where I've been offered a job, and I thought this was a good interview. At least, like, I should make it to a second round. Not that you're gonna be like, cool, so we're gonna repost this because you suck. Like, in the middle, which is certainly how I took it. Like, why else would you say that? People talk about there are jobs posted that aren't really open. There are, you know, for whatever reason, and, you know, they already have somebody in mind or whatever. And I had so few interviews that you know, came out of looking for those kind of jobs that I didn't really have any proper feedback. So at that point, I didn't even really know where the failure was. If it was in the system that nobody was seeing me, if there were just so many people that were applying that were otherwise qualified, or if people were looking at my resume and feeling it doesn't translate. You know, I'm like, I always think, I don't know, maybe there's a typo in my resume that I've never been able to find that everybody sees. And they're like, screw that person. She's a journalist and I'm like, I have no idea, because I've just gotten almost no feedback. And that's kind of what makes it so hard, is because I don't know what to do differently. You know, I don't know, like, should I tweak my resume? Should I look for different jobs? Should I, you know, and we've done the contacts thing, like the job that I got ghosted on, I kind of knew a person and, you know, friend of a friend. So it's kind of like, I don't really know how to fix it. After I quit CNN and then I rethought it, I wouldn't have chosen for my career to end at like what age I was. But, you know, it is like, I just feel like, well, we'll just see what happens. I don't know. I just feel like, as I think many people of a certain age feel, like I have a lot to contribute to. I have a wealth of knowledge and experience that I can bring to the table that